Where were you when the world stopped turning that September day? Were you in the yard with your wife and children working on some stage in L.A.? Did you stand there and shock the sight of that black smoke rising against that blue sky? Did you shout out in anger and fear for your neighbor? Did you just sit there and cry?
I'm just a singer of simple songs. I'm not a real political man. I watch CNN, but I'm not sure I could tell you the difference in Iraq and Iran. But I know Jesus and I talk to God, and I remember this from when I was young. Faith, hope, and love are some good things He gave us, and the greatest is love. The greatest is love. The greatest is love.
Where were you when the world stopped turning that
On a
September
day? Welcome to Unfiltered and Informed. Today is our 9/11 show. We shoot on Wednesdays, so Friday is the actual day, but we're going to show a little love to all of our vets, all of our first responders, everybody that lost their lives. Rest in peace on that day. I just have to say thank you so much to all of those people that worked so hard, that even put their lives on the line, that lost their lives, that still fight to this day, especially our men and women fighting overseas, to keep this country free and to make it the best country that it can be, and to protect all of our rights, So today's our 9/11 show. Thank you for everybody that's joining us. Heidi, where were you on 9/11?
I was in Denver, Colorado.
What were you doing in Denver?
I was up early with my girlfriends, and we were planning on going snowboarding. I was supposed to be going to school, but snowboarding was for fun.
Where'd you go to school?
I went to Regis University in Denver.
Regis.
It's kind of like a boarding school for college. But it was fun.
Was that a
little private school
sentence, or was that voluntary?
No, it was voluntary. I was supposed to, I wasn't good enough to get a golf scholarship. I was good enough to walk on at LSU. And I had a dorm room. I had a roommate, everything. In my senior year, I went snowboarding with some of my girlfriends in Beaver Creek. And I called my dad on like day 2. I'm like, Dad, I think I'm going to go to school in Colorado. And he's like, what? Like, he's been teaching me how to play golf since I could walk. And I was like, yeah, I think I just need to be in the mountains. I just need to, do this for 4 years instead of playing golf every day. I mean, I could play golf in the morning and then in Denver and then go under the tunnel and go snowboarding all on the same day.
For sure.
I was like, why would I not do this? And
I know that feeling. I think everybody that goes snowboarding or goes to the mountains at some point is like, God, I want to live here. I think that goes through everybody.
Yeah. Because I had never been to the snow before. We always went to the beach. We never went to, so it was my first time, and I just love anything to do with the board. Like I started skateboarding. I was in 3rd grade, and so
I just woke up like on 9/11. I just woke up and like checking my phone, clicked the TV on, and I was like a Fox News fan back then. I still watch Fox News just so I can get the right side of the news. I get CNBC the rest of the time, to get my left and everywhere else. But that morning I cut it on, and I'm literally just looking at my phone, and it's like a plane has hit the World Trade Center, and I looked up and I was like, oh my God. And as I'm watching, I watched the second plane live, just I was like, holy shit. Like I lost my mind right then. And I was already text messaging my girlfriend at the time, and I just called her right away. I was like, do you see this shit? And she's like, huh? She's like, I just heard it. She was already in class. She's like, we just heard it at school, like they're talking about right now. Everybody's getting cut. So
it was just so, I couldn't believe it was happening. And then I was watching it on, the same thing as you live. Sure. We're all just sitting there, and some of my girlfriends they were waking up some of my other friends that were there. Like, you guys got to see this.
Well, that's when then all the other planes started coming. Or, they started talking about all the other ones, and then the Pentagon, and then Pennsylvania. I was like, holy shit!
It like makes my hair stand up on my hair.
Yeah. What did y'all do? I mean, I called everybody I knew like right away, but I was always like the social butterfly guy. I was like, dude, y'all seeing this shit? Like, I called everybody. Like, call my mom. I love you. I miss you. Like, I was all quivered.
I don't remember if I called a whole bunch of people. I mean, I probably did. Can't really remember that.
What about you? Where were you at on 9/11?
Man, I was in Austin. I was working downtown. There's a little bar on 6th Street called The Drink, and that was like the spot, man.
That's my people.
Yeah, there was some people down there for sure.
No, Jason Marshall, CJ Baker, like all of my good friends were ownership there. I worked there before they owned it. Okay.
So it was been Niall and a guy named Dave and some other people that had it. But
I heard Dave.
So we'd work till 4 a.m, right? And I was in college too, up in Austin, and I had just gotten out of theology school, right? And I'd worked for ministries and things like that, and so, and of course I'm this backslidden dude in Austin, just getting smashed every night. Anyway, I wake up probably about 11:30, and I go downstairs, and I'm just getting myself together, and I'm looking at the news, and I see this stuff going on, and I didn't know if it was in real time or not. I just saw it, and my first thing going on, because y'all saw it was on every station.
Oh, yeah. Nonstop.
Nonstop. I mean, just all day long. And in my theological background, I'm sitting here thinking, okay, this is Revelation. Like, it's the end of the world, right? So I'm like, Jesus is coming back, and we're going to get in this big, giant Armageddon war. And it was pretty insane. I'm still marveling over the fact that y'all had a cell phone back then, because I was like 27 before I had a cell phone, dude. And I'm almost positive I didn't know how to text until... Because my phone was at Nokia, and I remember the first time I got a text from a girl, and it was just hi, and I was so excited that I got a text from her because I liked her, and but anyway, I don't think I called anybody. I'm pretty sure. I mean, I spoke to my mom, just family, and but really, I just stayed glued to the TV all day.
Yeah,
I think everybody did, and you're thinking about the families and Jesus, what's going on, and it was heavy.
Oh, yeah. Remember texting, though, in the first couple phones? You'd have to do it on the numbers. You'd be like 4 3s, 5 5.
I was like 30 minutes to get 2 lines down.
I mean,
I still had a beeper, and I would most people, I don't have a cell phone, just beep me, because then you don't have to.
Beepers were great, man.
Because you don't have to respond instantly.
Yeah.
I think I'm going back to a beeper.
Did you have the different color cases too, man? You could freshen it up a a bit.
No? You had the black beeper? I mean, I remember going to Fiesta
with the
and
orange
getting
button
7
on it,
different...
black and orange.
That's right. I had 7 different cases for my beeper when the funny thing was, I had a beeper so young. I think I was 13, but I had older brothers and cousins, so they were really who I wanted to be like, so they all had them. I went to 13. This is the best part. You had to be 16 to get a beeper at Fiesta. At 13, I went to Fiesta and got my fake ID that said I was 16, and then I went over to the other kiosk and bought my beeper with a fake ID.
At Fiesta?
God bless Fiesta.
Isn't that great?
You could get anything at Fiesta, right?
And I was going to wait way later for traffic, but Fiesta got me so good, and everybody's going to hate me, especially my Hispanic friends, but I don't care. This is Unfiltered and Informed. My best friend's Mexican. My girlfriend's Mexican. I got so mad leaving Austin on Monday. This lady cut me off. We're doing 70. She cuts me off, and I'm like, what the? I'm tripping. I get around the side of her, and she's on her phone. She's legitimately on her phone. Always. She's not even looking at the road. She's like this. And I just blurted out, and my girlfriend started laughing her ass off. I was like, did you get your fucking driver's license from Fiesta? And I was like, oh, man, that was so racist.
As you were putting your phone down from texting too, right?
No.
I know I'm guilty of that. I used to be all the time, but yeah, that's one of my biggest pet peeves. People on their phone when they're driving. And the older I get, I mean, I swear,
turn into your dad.
An old man.
Turn into your dad.
Yeah.
If someone calls me out, I'll accept it, and then I'll text back at a light. But if not, I'll just drive.
Aren't you a saint?
I mean, I try.
You got a collar up underneath that?
How Heidi, you were on the show, I think, when I told the story the last time I left Austin. When I blew the motor up on the boat, I was leaving, and this is after the longest, worst day of my life. We partied all weekend for 4th of July. Sunday on the way back to the house, I blow the motor on the boat. So Monday morning, I've got to clean the boat. I've got to get it all ready and shit and take it to the mechanic. And everybody's busy that day. So it's me and my 11-year-old son putting a 36-foot boat on a trailer, just the two of us. And that's a 2-man job for grown men, you know, but my son's, he's a boss. Like he's so good. I'm like, hey bud, you're just gonna have to help me today. Okay, Dad, no problem. You know, like he's gung ho. We get it all loaded up, no problem, you know. But the worst part was I didn't have a trailer hitch, so I had to go buy one, put it on the truck, then go get the trailer, which was at Buster's house. Then I got to go get the boat. It is a nightmare. It took all day long, hungover, feel like shit. Finally get the boat to the mechanic, and I get on 360, and we pull up to the light, and this guy's lingering. So I toot the horn. He starts yelling. I pull up next to him, and I roll down the window, and he goes, "What do you see?" He goes, "Fucking chill out. I was on my phone." And I was like, "What?" I want, and he like waved his phone at me like angry. I was on my phone, and I was like, "Man, I want to rip this dude's arm off and beat him with his own arm. Like, I can't believe you just told me that. Like, stop rushing me. I'm on my phone in a motor vehicle. Like, I'm driving." I was like, "You blow my mind, man." Some people.
Well, you were in Austin.
This is true.
You know, and I lived there, so like I said,
I give Austin a lot of shit. I was born there though.
Oh, were you really?
Yeah, I was Old Seton. Like I was born in Austin. Like all my family's still there. Not all my family. I don't have a lot of family. Aunt and uncles, you know, and stuff are still there. Mom and dad are in Kerrville, but it's changed so much. And I said it this weekend coming home. Like when you look at the city and like the skyline now of Austin, it blows my mind. Like,
did you grow up there as a kid too?
Yeah, till I was like 6, and then we moved to Houston. I've been here the rest of the time.
The skyline's insane, dude. When I first moved there in '97, showing my age, I just graduated Bible college, and I moved up there. And I think the tallest building was the Capitol.
That's
and they
right.
had a city ordinance that there couldn't be any buildings taller than the Capitol.
That's right.
And it was just full of musicians and artists, and we had a badass place right on East River on Woodland Avenue. It was right the exit right past Riverside going south. And it was $700 a month. I checked out that place the other day. It's like $3,500 a month now. But it's just built up. It's still nostalgically cool for me.
Yeah.
You know. I love it, dude.
I told him the same thing. When we were driving, I was like, dude, look at the skyline. I was like, the tallest building I said was the towers. The dorm rooms for UT back then.
It was Adobe.
Yeah. Right.
Right by the Adobe, the tower, yeah.
I was like, yeah, that's what I thought. But you're right, it was the Capitol. Dude, Austin, though, was crazy. We had a blast. We stayed on Lake Austin, though, and it was funny because the house that we rented had, like, super cool, like, grilling area and a boat dock and ramp and everything. Our boat house that was way down this cool. It looked like, it reminded me of, like, the Great Wall of China. Like they had, it was way up on the hill, you know, and you had to walk all the way down. They had the walkway down was all rock. It was really, really, really cool. But anyway, their boathouse had like this huge, and it's as big as the studio. Like it was massive. They had a grilling area and a kitchen down there, but they had Keep Austin Weird lit up sign, you know. I was like, y'all don't even live here. Y'all are part-timers, you know. But,
well, they're building the Great Wall of China to keep all the conservatives out.
Yeah.
Pretty soon you won't be able to get in.
Everyone is moving from California to
Yeah,
Texas.
So I may be overstepping. Tassia, I hope you're not upset, but Jeremy Piven, the guy from Entourage, was there with him. We ran into him on the boat, and a buddy of mine is a realtor out there. He was showing him homes out there, and he was like, "Yep, what's his name?
Joe Rogan.
Joe Rogan's already moving out here. Like,
everybody's there, dude.
They're coming.
Yeah, they're leaving in droves. Even if they're not moving to Austin, who's that other guy with the podcast? A heavyset Italian guy, Joey something. I think he moved back to Jersey, and I mean they're just kind of. They're jamming out, and they're trying to get away from the politics. But the crazy part is, and I'm not a political man, like Alan Jackson said, but I do understand, like they're trying to get away from the politics, but they're bringing the politics with them.
Yep.
Yeah.
You know, and it's kind of stinking it up a little bit. But I mean, there's always Houston. You can always live here.
That's right. The hodgepodge,
the
melting pot.
Disneyland or Disney World that's in California?
World is in Florida and land is in California.
Disneyland, I heard, is moving to Texas.
Wally World is actually, I think it's Wally World, not Disneyland. Isn't Wally World in California? Remember? Nobody here watched National Lampoon's Vacation.
Yeah. That's right. I remember now.
I was like,
I thought you were referring to Disney World as Wally World. No. And then, did you hear about all the boats? That was great. So they had a Trump parade. They had them all over the place, but they had one in Lake Travis, which is the next lake over from Lake Austin where we stayed. 2,800 boats. 5 of them sank. Jesus. And the Travis County Police Department, or Travis County Sheriff, said there was like 20 or 30 distress calls. You can tell somebody's girlfriend or wife just tripping out like, we're fucking going down. Come save us. No deaths, though. No injuries. So it's still funny that 5 of them sank. And they're like, how'd that happen? And they were talking about the boats just being too small for what all the big boats, and so many boats just all causing chop and causing waves and stuff that they would just capsize. And a little water would get in this time, next time, and they just sinking right there. And they're taking pictures of these boats just going down.
Oh my God. Imagine being Devil's Cove that week.
Yeah. Man, I wish I don't really watch any TV, so I have no idea what's going on. Next time you're in Austin, let me know if there's something like that going on. I'll tell you my weekend.
Okay.
Probably wasn't as eventful as yours. I'd taken some mushrooms, went on a hike out on the Greenbelt.
Okay.
And on the river, man. And I'm out there with my dog. I'm just looking at the trees. And I'm like, yeah, this is beautiful, man. We're all one. And I hear this loud noise. It sounds like a seance. Have you ever heard of InfoWars? Alex Jones, InfoWars?
No.
I mean, Google this guy, man.
Okay.
It's actually a huge thing. It was like a conspiracy kind of thing. And they were having a big InfoWars rally down on the river. So you can imagine, you don't know InfoWars, but if you did, you can imagine if you'd taken a few doses of mushrooms and walked out of one of those things. Just so you know, I do it strictly for the mental health.
Hey.
In small doses, it works really well.
It is really good for your
It's
mental health.
fantastic.
Yeah. It
Fantastic.
helps reconnect
all of
everything.
it, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. So next time we'll
I will definitely give you a shout next time I'm there.
yeah.
Have you done
Let me know.
shrooms?
I've partaken.
More for the recreational part, right? Not for the like.
This has been a very long time ago. This is college days. This is a long time ago for
We
me.
used to take them in Colorado and go up in the mountains in Boulder and play hide and go seek.
Oh, wow. I can remember some hide and go seeks, though. I have a terrible, terrible, terrible story. So when I left Houston, I moved out to Belleville, and my friends from Houston would come out to my parents' ranch all the time. Like, that was like one of the party spots, you know, and they would come out there, just get away from the city, and they would always bring something, you know, like whatever it was, you know. And we did mushrooms one time, and me and my buddy Bo climbed up to the top of this tree. I mean, we're way the fuck up there. And we were on mushrooms, and I started peeing, just being funny. And these girls had run up underneath the tree, and they go, "It's raining!" And he and I laughed so hard up in this. And I mean, of course, you're tripping too, you know. So you're
Probably looks like golden confetti.
Well, it's nighttime, you know, and they had no idea. Like, they're just like, "It's
That's so
raining!"
horrible.
And me and him laugh about that every time we see each other. It's like, golly, when do we tell them? You know, what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Right now.
You don't ever tell
It
me.
wasn't raining. Oh man, I would love to shout y'all's names out, but I will not.
Can we do initials?
No, they'd kill me. They're too good of friends. They're too good of people to blast on
Did
the
you
show.
tell them eventually?
No.
Right.
No,
good.
still
Right
to this
now.
day.
This is
Still to this day.
That's what I'm saying, man.
Debut.
Well, they know now if they're watching.
Oh, I just wanted to comment about y'all's song. It was amazing.
Oh, thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.
I loved that song. It's so emotional, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I love everything he went for in that song. And it was perfect timing, you know. Not perfect timing, just it's sad, but
Yeah.
he hit it on the head. You know, that's the kind of shit that brings us together, especially right now with this COVID stuff going on. Like, 9/11 came at a very convenient time, you know, because our country really needs to solidify. We need to come back together, you know. Like, there's too much fight and hate and negativity going around right now, and that was an attack on us as a country, you know. So that's something that can kind of bring us together, you know, and center us, you know, especially with all this shit that's going on. So
I wonder if it still has the same effect. I almost feel like the everybody's gotten so far away from, I mean, even really any kind of patriotism, you know. So, I mean, hopefully we need something to bring us together.
Yeah.
Either the memory of this or, I mean, but then again, there's always those things like there's still people out there that will commemorate and honor and kind of do the right thing. So
I hope that this year is a good year for it. You know, like I said, like so much negativity right now is going on. Like this is something that affected all of us equally, you know, and especially with all the race stuff going on right now, you know, and I made a joke earlier and it's just for humor. Like like I said, I date a Mexican.
You can't do that, bro.
Yeah, I know.
Can't do that.
Regardless, like I said, to bring us back together, we are a nation, you know, like we're all still family and, you know, in that regard, you know, so bring us back together. And that song, you know, brings up some good feelings, you know.
You know, I just came from Maine, and you know, Texas is more Republican.
Were you up in Portland, Maine, or?
I was in Portland for a little bit, and then I went up a couple hours up the coast.
Okay.
And you know, here most people are Republican, and there most people are Democrats.
Oh, for sure.
But I find that a lot of people are just confused about what the truth is, but on a human level, from human to human, people here all say the same thing that they want there. Like if you take the politics out, they just, you know, the businesses they shut down all the businesses. They shut down the restaurants. You can't even go in them, barely. They just killing the little businesses. And so all the people are, you know, how can we, you know, come together and be safe with, you know, with the COVID, but still rally together and support each other. And so, I mean, I find that very interesting that, you know, when I was talking to this one lady and she was talking about Minneapolis and she's like, wow, it's just those, I was like, can you believe what's happening over there? I have some friends in Minnesota and they said that one of the problems is that a lot of the people who are supplying them have left. So now they got to go to another state and go get their other stuff. And this lady goes, it's just those right-wingers stirring the pot. And I'm like, that is a full-on Democratic city. I was just like, I was in my kayak, and I started kayaking backwards. I was like, I mean, I'm going to agree to disagree on this one.
Yeah.
You know, but the point is that they've been told that, like, half of the country really believes that it's just the right-wingers are starting the riots. And I'm like, that's not the truth, in my opinion.
After we had that last couple of shows and friends of mine have brought up the Fall of Cabal, I watched it. I'm just trying to do my homework, and they go into like the full Soros, giving everybody money, paying the immigrants that were trying to. That was really funny. I know it's bullshit, but some of it may be true. But he said, you know, all those pictures of all the immigrants coming from Central and South America through Mexico, they had all these propaganda pictures where they're like on cell phones, new backpacks, new shoes. Like some of them were walking barefoot, and they're like, do the math here. Like, one, you don't look like you just stepped off the airplane when you walk 1,800 miles. When you walk 40 days straight, you definitely don't do it barefooted. Two, your clothes aren't brand new. You're not clean shaven. You don't have iPhones. You know, like your iPhone's not charging.
Yeah.
They picked it apart. But I know that a lot of that's propaganda too. But I thought it was very funny. But then when they got into saying that George Soros was actually there paying them to march. Like, hey, we're going to take these pictures. Everybody's going to get $10. Everybody's going to get a new phone. You're going to get a backpack. You're going to get this. I was like,
hey, man, I got a job.
He didn't get that rich giving dumb shit away. Like, I get it. He puts money in directions, you know, that he wants to. But that specifically, that's a little far-fetched.
I saw a picture. Someone pulled over at a bus stop. They're driving, and there was like 5 huge Black Lives Matter, brand new $300,000 Black Lives Matter buses, like busing all these people to.
I saw that too.
Like some Prevost, some $1 million type.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are like, those are someone's really putting some money into this. You know, I don't know who it is.
Getting the people to the right places so that they can.
Yeah, they're busing them in.
Yeah.
And so.
I don't doubt. I think that was probably photoshopped a little too, because I saw the pictures too. I don't know that it was and that it wasn't.
I was not there, so I don't know.
Maybe 2 of those buses were there. If they photoshopped the other 3 in there, I don't know that either. But
they got a lot of I wouldn't put it past. They got a lot of pull. I mean, the NBA, the NFL. I mean, they got plenty of money. Major money behind that, dude. Mm-hmm. This ain't some mom and pop organization,
right? But to hide, you know, they would. I don't think they would be that blatant about it. You know, if they were going to send buses, I don't think they'd have all 5 at one time showing up to the gas stations together and rolling together, because then we'd all start talking about it and people start taking pictures. If they were going to do it, it wouldn't be Black Lives Matter buses. They may rent Greyhounds. They may rent Von Lanes. They may rent, you know,
or maybe they're just.
Maybe
so.
There's an old saying that says, you hide the truth in plain sight.
Right.
So that's the best way to hide it. You showcase it, man. You put it out there because most people are too stupid to think for themselves. And I don't mean that in a negative way. It's just like I don't watch TV anymore. I quit watching TV 5 years ago. So I read. I've probably read. I mean, I can't count how many books I've read in 5 years, but most people don't. They just believe everything that comes out of that little black box. I mean, they're completely oblivious to what's going on. So if I was running an organization, I'd treat it like an army. I'd be busting things in too. Yeah. Because the more the merrier. I mean, the numbers, power's in numbers.
Right.
So I don't know, man.
In everything that they're doing, they're spinning that the other side is doing.
Oh, sure.
It's like if you're dating some dude and he keeps asking like if you're cheating or something. I'm like, is that what you're doing?
Of course, yeah.
Like they're projecting. So I'm like, thank you for telling me everything that you're doing right now.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's when I'm watching the news. They're projecting onto the other side. I'm like, man, this is a bad relationship.
I dated a girl one time and I told her this. I said, look, whatever you ask me, like if you ever ask me if I'm cheating on you, or whatever it may be. To me, that means that you're doing
That's
it.
what you're thinking.
I mean, because why would you? And it kind of even goes beyond that because there's a law of attraction. There's a way that a vibration works. Well, obviously, if I'm cheating on somebody, I don't even have to ask her. She probably is. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's probably going both ways.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Because it's the law, man. It has to.
Yeah.
I mean, there might be a fluke every now and again where somebody is just a real, scuzz and he's out running around on him and the other person's just sitting home, oh my God, I want you to come home. But I doubt it. And they won't be doing that for long if they are.
Right.
They'll have some side piece quick.
Yeah. Yeah. It won't take long.
So yeah, to your point, you're right.
It's true.
I
They
totally
project.
believe that. Yeah.
Because a lot of times when people ask questions, I'm like, I didn't even know to think that way. But now that you're thinking that way.
Thank you for showing me your cards.
Yeah, exactly. People will show you who they are if you just sit back and take notes.
Eric Clapton said, the best lesson I ever learned was how to keep my mouth shut.
Smartest man in the room
That
is
is-
normally the quietest one.
That's it.
I'm the worst about that, so I'm probably the dumbest person. But I've tried to put that into, play and be like, all right, Dustin, shut up.
Yeah. Oh man, I learned it the hard way. I used to have a hell of a mouth. I mean, they'd almost had a pull string right here, like a lawnmower. You just go running, boy.
And also, when I watch guys get in a fight, the scariest one is always the quiet one.
Always.
It's never the.
And he's not drinking either.
He's
that guy over there just
kind
kinda-
of. It's a little too calm.
Mm-hmm. One of my best friends I went to Bible school with, Damon, he wasn't a drinker, and he's actually in the ministry, but he was a killer boxer and fighter. And he was the same way. He'd be in the bar. He'd come watch us play. We'd drive to Chicago and do gigs everywhere, all over the U.S., and he'd come with us. And then, he's just that guy, just cool as a cucumber in the back, just waiting for one, though. Yep. That's the highlight of his night. The highlight of my night was getting drunk, getting laid. Highlight of his night was whooping somebody's ass.
In Bible college?
No, out of Bible college. Out of Bible college, man.
It's always
They can't do anything else but kick ass. They can't enjoy themselves and drink a beer.
That's funny.
Sounds like an exciting college.
Where is this school?
Man, it's Columbus. It was actually
Columbus, Ohio, or Columbus, Texas?
No, Columbus, Texas.
No kidding.
It's kind of like a little cult out there. Man.
I know Columbus well, like the Shobles.
Yeah, it's called TBI, and it was off of Lakewood. Before Joel Osteen, his dad was John Osteen.
Okay.
And so the youth pastors there broke away and started like a church camp. It was like the largest non-denominational camp in the U.S. I mean, and then they turned it into a school. So I grew up going to camp out there, and then I went to school out there, and I got my first paycheck from them because I actually worked for them, and I made 27 cents.
Oh, God.
Wasn't long before I packed up my shit and got out of there, dude.
God don't pay.
Oh, he pays,
He
just
prays.
not there.
He prays.
Hey, just don't pay there.
All right, we're going to go to an ad real fast, and we'll be right back.
You're driving along, enjoying a great day, when all of a sudden, someone's negligence causes you to be injured in a car accident. From the minute an accident happens, things can get complicated. You seek immediate medical help, but still feel scared and overwhelmed. You worry about your damaged property and the bills piling up for treatment. You need help, but aren't sure who you can trust. For over 25 years, people like you have trusted Mokaram Law Firm. When you contact Mokaram Law Firm, you are greeted by professionals that begin to put your mind at ease right away. We have a fleet of rental vehicles available for same-day pickup and a network of doctors and facilities in every specialty nationwide. While you focus on recovering, Mokaram Law Firm fights for you because we know what it's like to feel unheard by insurance companies. We will ensure you get the compensation you deserve. We want you to feel confident about our services, so we offer a super simple sign-up process and same-day cash advances. As a personal injury law firm, we also handle cases involving bad drugs and medical devices, such as Zantac, 3M earplugs, Juul, transvaginal mesh, Boy Scout abuse claims, and many more. Clients have been satisfied with our results for over 25 years. No case is too big or too small for Mokaram Law Firm. For a free legal consultation,
Circus.
Well, welcome back. We're going to get right back into the 9/11 commemoration. Thank you again for all of our hardworking men and women and first responders. I do want to say rest in peace to another dear friend of mine, Jason Boyle. Died on 9/11 5 years ago today. Sizzle, love you. I miss you, man. Good buddy of mine for a long time. Worked side by side with him for years. Rode dirt bikes, hunted, fished, kayaked. He actually died kayaking.
Wow.
I started kayaking, and then he was just one of my best friends that rode with me all the time. So he started kayaking, and then him and his girlfriend went out one night. I think we had worked that night, or he didn't work that night, but they went and kayaked. I worked that night, and they went out, and she called me at like 1 o'clock and was like, "Hey, we rolled over. I can't find Jason." And I was like, "What?" I was like, "Clearly he'll come up, like." They're in the middle of River Oaks, and she walked up to somebody's house in River Oaks. Like, we rode Buffalo Bayou right through the middle of downtown and through River Oaks and Memorial Park. She walked up to somebody's house and was like, "Hey, I rolled over my kayak and I need to use your phone." She called me. We went back out. We didn't go back out there that night because I was expecting the whole time he's just going to show up. Like, they got out at two different points in the river, and she walked there, and he's probably out there looking for her. What I really thought was, he's out there looking for you right now.
Sure.
Like, that's how I thought, because he was a vet. I mean, we probably been down that bayou 50 or 100 times in the last year that he had done that, because that was like one of our things. We'd work all night at the bar. We'd get out. We'd go out down there like when we got off work and float through the night, because it's so hot in Houston. Nighttime it's beautiful, and you can get out there and just enjoy it. And anyway, Jason, rest in peace, man. Love you, miss you. We were talking in the break about conspiracy theories of 9/11. Do you believe? Do you not believe? What do you think?
Well, I mean, I love me some good conspiracy theories.
I know you do. You always feed me with some good stuff, so I knew this was the question for you.
I heard a good conspiracy that when the Patriots started when JFK was murdered, apparently. And I guess they had been collecting evidence, and there was a lot of evidence in the towers, and also in the Pentagon. And that one room that got blown up was apparently the headquarters of the Patriots. And then a missile went, or a plane, and so that's a lot of on the conspiracy theory that I've heard. I mean, I don't know if it's true or not because I was not involved in any of it. But
well, I hope not.
My young teenage age. But no, I just heard that there was, there's been this ongoing war, and apparently that's kind of what's playing out with Trump right now is, the end of the.
I watched the Follow Cabal, like the whole thing, start to finish.
No, what is that?
It's all the conspiracy theory. It goes back to like the Rockefellers and the Rothschilds and how they.
Can you get it on like Netflix or something?
Oh yeah,
and the central banks.
It's on YouTube.
Okay,
it's about 3
I'm gonna
hours.
watch it.
There's 10 episodes. They're like from like 10 minutes to like 18 minutes a piece. But it goes into every bit of the Federal Reserve.
Yeah.
I thought that was
Oh,
literally the Federal Reserve. No, that's just some rich ass families
Sure.
back in the day. They were like, hey, we're going to bail out the banks at this point.
And they're not even from America.
Right.
Right.
Right. They're a completely different entity.
Right. And, but that family is here. Like they're here now full,
Right.
you know, but it went into basically JFK dying because he was the first one that was like, hey, the
Trying to abolish
Illuminati,
the feds,
yeah,
too.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And that's really where they were going with that. They were like, hey, these people are pulling the strings behind the picture, but we really need somebody that's looking out for America, not looking out for these families
Sure.
to do it, you know, and the whole crooked side of it. And they were relaying back to when she brought Trump into it, Trump and JFK Jr. Being good friends, like being really good friends, something that I didn't know anything about until I watched this, but they were really tight. And they're talking
Right,
about
yeah, I knew
that
that.
maybe he faked his death, and that's who's
Really?
because they have this.
They never
code.
found that dude's body, right?
No, they didn't. I don't know if I believe that. I'm
Sure.
telling you what
Yeah.
the story was. They were lining it up how the way that it was written it was in the Bible that they were talking about, where it was like the Trump will come back in the 2020. They had it all like. I know they decode
been
that
like-
shit however
Yeah,
they want
yeah.
to.
Sure. There've been like prophets that have said that there's going to be a trumpet in the White House. You
Yeah,
know,
right.
but this was
That's
before. But
what it was.
it's not in the Bible for sure.
that was going to bring them down,
Sure.
and then the one was going to come back, and they're talking about, is that one going to be JFK Jr.? Like, is Bobby, or it was just a
And then you have all the rumors of JFK is going to be the vice president.
right. It was
Really?
gonna be the
pretty
big-
interesting.
All this kind of thing is going on. Man, I am totally out of the
Have you
loop.
seen Out of the Shadows?
I haven't seen Out of the Shadows.
Yeah, Out of the Shadows is good.
That
It's
was
a good
trying
one.
to get me to watch that. It was good. What I didn't like was they thrived on the child molestation stuff a lot, and that disturbs me already for having an 11-year-old. Like, I don't like that to begin with, but they talked about it a lot, and how like all of these big families and they went into the Clintons. That
Sure.
what really kind of drew me in, and that I took a lot of thought to, which I still don't know if I believe that either, was all of the people that testified or went against the Clintons are dead.
There's
Oh,
like
for sure.
60. There's like 60
There's a trail
at
of
least.
bodies, dude.
Yeah.
People
Yeah.
that are stuffed under river logs that have been shot that they said drowned in. I mean, all kinds of crazy
A bunch
stuff.
of them were all hung.
Oh, yeah.
that were supposed to be
Yeah.
suicides, and they were hung by a doorknob, which was like this is like a symbolic part that says that
dude,
this
yeah.
is the don't talk about it thing. And I was like,
Sure.
holy shit! And I was like, if I had time, I would go do all the research, but clearly I don't have the time. I have 11 jobs as it is, But it would be interesting for somebody to fact check that and see if every single one of them, because it even went down to like Chester Benningfield, Lincoln Park, and that he had done it. I was like, well, that's kind of weird. And then the Epstein deal where he was hung like from like 2 feet off the ground. Like, all you gotta do is pick your feet up, whatever.
Yeah, yeah. You probably really like that InfoWars. You've seen it, right? I mean,
I've
the
heard
guy's far out, man, but he's that conspiracy
seen it.
thing too, and it gets pretty deep like that. I mean, he goes out to like Bohemian Grove. Have you ever heard of that?
No.
You ever heard of Bohemian Grove? It's where like all the people from all the world leaders from the world, they come into this place, and I think is it in California somewhere?
Mhm.
And
Is it the Redwoods?
It's at the Redwoods,
Yeah.
and they go out there and they have like these seances.
Yeah.
I mean, literally.
Child sacrifice.
Oh, all kinds of. There's this big owl that's called Mola, or whatever it is. Oh yeah, man, and all these very very wealthy people, they're dressed in these togas and they're like naked, and they perform these ceremonies. And then, I mean, and there's video footage of all these world leaders coming in for the weekend, all of them. And Alex Jones is sitting there. What are you doing back here? And he's actually from Austin, Alex Jones. But I totally believe that there are. I mean, we know that there are secret societies. We know that there's people pulling strings.
Sure.
We know that 1% of the world's wealth is in 1% of the hands. And the people, there's that old saying, the golden rule: he who holds the gold makes the rules, right? So obviously, slavery. We always talk about like Black Lives Matter, slavery, and what happened to them for 400 years. But slavery's been going on for thousands of years. Think how long that the Jews were enslaved.
Right.
For thousands of years. And let's go back further than that, and from the Egyptians into like the ancient Babylonian days. I mean, they've always had their worker bees, and then the 1% that's basically ruling the roost. So it doesn't surprise me at all that, listen, I can tell you this for me. When y'all were in school, did y'all have safety patrol?
No.
Okay. I bring this back like with cops, and I support police officers as well. But I know I've had my ass whipped many times by the cops, broke ribs.
Like you mean patrol, like security cops on campus?
No,
or?
this is like when I was in school. I'm talking about how power corrupts. I'm going to kind of back it up and kind of get, when you have all this power, it's eventually going to corrupt you because you can do and get away with anything. Like when I was a kid, I remember in elementary school, 3rd, 4th grade, actually we had to be in 4th and 5th grade. Actually, I think it was 5th grade, and we could wear this little orange sash and had a little badge on it. You had a little helmet, and you could stand in the hallway and tell people, slow down! Slow down!
Hall monitors.
Stop!
Hall monitors.
And yeah, dude. And I swear to God, I got my little badge, and I thought my shit didn't stink, son. I put that badge on. I would be yelling at people just to do it, right? They might not even be running, but I was enforcing that authority, right? And I can see how the people with all this power, there's that old saying, absolute power corrupts absolutely. So, yeah, man, conspiracy theories I don't think it's a theory. I think it's the truth. And I think most people are just too blind to open their eyes and see it.
See, I see through all that shit. Like, it's hard for me to even watch like a Netflix series now because I can like read right through what's coming up.
Oh yeah.
You know, like, and that it ruins it for me. So the conspiracy
Sure.
theory's got to be like dead on for me to give it any kind of validity. You know,
Yeah.
like you can't miss just a little spot. Other I'm like, oh, it's bullshit. No, don't believe him. You know, so
Yeah. Well, the Epstein guy, I mean, he gets
man.
put in there and he's killed, and all the videotapes are not running. I mean, come on, dude.
no, I believe that one
It-
100%. Like, I don't think that's a conspiracy. I think that is
That's
Sex
truth.
trafficking
Truth.
shit is
Yeah.
real, man.
Yeah.
Those people are sick. I got a little taste of that when I was in Hollywood for a little bit with kind of just some of them, mansion parties and things that went on.
Yeah.
Sure.
Son, you wouldn't
It's worse for
believe
men
you
in
wouldn't believe
Hollywood.
what was going on in those places.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, it's sick. But when you have everything, what else do you want? You
Something
get used to
different.
it, so you want something different. And so every time you kick down a door, I feel like shit. I remember like me, every time I would do some stupid drug when I was young, I was like, man, I swear I'd never do that. I'll never do it again. And sure enough, I'd do it again. And then it gets to where it's not that big of a deal. So then you go into something bigger or strong, whatever it might be, whatever your vice is.
Yeah. See, I went through that super young.
Me too.
Yeah, I ran through it all really fast, and it was just I was bored with it.
Sure.
It didn't do anything for me. I don't have an addictive personality to begin with. So I think I was just experimenting.
Mm-hmm.
Like I tried it all very young, and then I had friends. And being in the bar business for as long as I was, I would see these same people just over and over and over, and I'm like, dude, what the fuck are you doing to yourself? Like you're killing yourself. And it didn't do anything for me. So.
I'll tell you one more story, and then I'll shut up about this underage shit.
Why are you pointing at me?
No, I'm just saying you're right next to me. You're easier to see than him. I'm getting older. I can't see him. I'm messing with you. But I was doing, as soon as I got off the Bachelor Pad TV show, we were just kind of on the cusp of, people knew us. I mean, we had a big deal. Magazines and whatever. So we would get invited to go to different nightclubs and like sit in, and they would promote the night. Like so-and-so is here, and all the people would come, and we just get smashed and get hammered, and we're hanging out with multi-millionaires. Well, me, and I won't say any names. He'll know if he's watching exactly. He was on the shows with me, some of the other guys. We go up to the top of this guy's place in D.C., and he's up there, man, there's drugs all over the table, and there's whatever you could possibly want. And he's like, you guys want it? Because he was putting on the promotion. He owned, like, I don't know, just a slew of nightclubs in D.C. Big swinging dick. And he was like, is there anything you guys want? And I was like, we got Coke on the table and pot and me. I didn't do Coke, but I was like, I'm good, man. I'm fine. I'm from East Texas, man, Huntsville. And we're like, he kept asking us. And finally, me and this cat were like, what do you do? We're good. What do you mean? He goes, well, you can have anything you want. And we're like, what do you mean? He goes, well, and gave us an example and said the name, and I won't tell you the name. Very, 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 I probably shouldn't even say this, very prominent actor. And he said, well, every time he comes to town, he always wants an underage boy. Swear to God. And I couldn't believe it because I'm a huge fan, right, of this certain guy. So, I mean, I know that kind of stuff goes on.
Oh, sure.
It's just, it's hiding in the plain sight. I mean, it's these elite kind of people. So
that Fall Cabal went into the whole Pizzagate thing.
Yeah, man.
Talking about, and the dungeon and bringing these kids in there. What got me like just threw me for a loop was them scaring, and I had no idea, but there's a chemical that the brain puts off whenever you scare somebody to like the edge of death. That's what they were like. Yeah, exactly. And they wanted this stuff, and I was like,
it's like a drug. You take it one time. Apparently, I've interviewed someone who has taken it once, and he was taken as a kid, and he was one of the kids he was like a slave, and he was in this house when they first took him there. That night they took him, and there was 3 boys and 1 got sacrificed, and he watched it, and they made all the other boys drink the blood of that kid, and he said it was like it was like that movie. You know, what's that movie where they took the drug and they said it was like Adderall, but
oh yeah, Limitless.
Yes, but he said that's what that movie's really about. And he's like, you almost can like see 360 around you, and he's like, your brain is working on every level possible, and you just like are brilliant. And
that follicle ball went into like Johnny Depp, Celine Dion, and some other actors, but it just showed them like before, while they were on it is what they said, and then when they brought all this to light, how all that stuff like shut down, and how they just look like they're like 100 years old now. They're like, man, this is you on androchrome or whatever, and this is you off, and it was.
We say it's like one time you take it, and you know where it came from, and you just crave it. Like it's like worse than heroin, I guess.
And it just ages it.
But in LA, it's like
it's like
they
the
trade it.
Fountain of Youth.
The Fountain of Youth.
Oh, really?
But yeah, in LA.
So they're saying this is a real thing.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. You can trade it for money instead. It's a currency in Los Angeles, and like they call like in Los Angeles, if you're a guy, it's almost worse for you than if you're a woman, because if you like want to go on an audition and there's 5 other actors, like, all right, if you want this audition, the agent will be like, you gotta do this for me. You gotta go down on me.
Oh,
if
for
you
sure,
want
dude.
the audition.
Absolutely.
And then you go there, and then the director's like, well, if you want this, you gotta do this. And I. One of my actor friends was telling me, I was like, what? And I mean, I know for the women, they, a lot of times I got parts that, were you going to go on dates with me? I'm like, I don't date directors because I want the part for real, and so they would be like, the ego would ball up and whatever. But for men, it's like, we call it the velvet mafia.
Oh, you got to do something. You got to give them something.
You got to give them something.
I remember being in Nashville. This is several years ago, and I was, on a date with a girl who I won't tell you who she was, but she was known, and we had gone to a place with a major record label, and there was this dude there, and he was obviously very flamboyant and gay, but had a lot of pull. And I'm not against gay guys; he had a lot. To each is his own. We start slamming shots, man. We're getting smashed. We're in this local spot, and as the night goes on, I mean, this guy just he gets a whole handful of my satchel, right? And I noticed something from the back, because I was leaning over the bar, and I kept noticing him going back from the back and like coming up under and like grabbing it, right? And I'm like, what the fuck, man? and the girl's standing here, right? And I know it wasn't her. And I finally turned around and was like, dude. And man, I was drinking. I kind of lost it. I mean, I felt violated, and I'm not attracted to men. And I had a few choice words for him, and he was like, I can't believe you almost had a record deal. I mean, seriously. So I know that kind of shit happens. Yeah. And then I was looked at like the bad guy. The girl I was with, she was like, I can't believe you would say something like that to him. And I'm saying, he just grabbed all my cock and balls and everything. It was like caressing. I'm like, come on. So that work. I mean, that's for real, man.
No, I know it
is.
I know it.
You're gonna give a piece of ass if you're gonna get a little piece of money, because they gotta have something to hold over you.
I found out the hard way myself.
I bet you've had all kinds of satchel grabbing going on.
When I was real young, yeah. When I first came to college down here, I was doing like the model thing. Mm-hmm. Like I would go to all the clubs, and do their little runway shit, and it was always like, hey, do you want to be like the next guy? And I'm like, no, I'm cool. Like, I'm good with just, getting the exposure, like, no, I can put you together. And back then it was like Neil Hamill and Paige Parks. That was always like, that was the two.
Paige out of Dallas, right?
Well, they had a deal here, and they would always like flaunt that in front of me and be like, just come back to the house when we leave the club. I'm like, nah, bro, I'm good. Like, I'm just fine, but it was always right. Like they would always like dangle the carrot, like, you want to meet the guys from Paige Parks or Neil Hamill? And I was like, not at your house.
Yeah,
Like we're at a club. There's thousands of people here like enjoying what we just did. Why aren't they here? Let's talk to them. Let's have a drink. Let's talk about it. They always want us to come back to the house. I mean, every single time I did it, they wanted us to come back to the house. And I had a girlfriend throughout the whole thing, so it was never an option. I was like, nope, we're going out partying. Like I would always scapegoat to her, you know, like, oh, nope, we're going out partying. We're going to do this. We got to do that. I got school in the morning. I got football tomorrow, whatever. I would throw out the best, but I was like, I'm not going back to you guys' house ever, you know?
No, man. So back to your point. I mean, I think that 9/11 probably, I mean, who knows? I mean, I don't see how that could have, there's got to be other people behind it. And
well, you know what I heard was that Osama wasn't even the guy behind it.
Wasn't he a CIA guy? Went with the Bushes, though?
I heard the same thing too. And then they show the pictures and they try and, you know, make you believe that. But he was never a CIA anything.
Right.
Like his dad was a billionaire construction guy.
Man had coin.
Right. This kid had like 40 brothers and sisters. Like he was just another fucking rich kid that was looking for an outlet, looking for something that he wanted to dive into. Like he for sure didn't come to America to work for the fucking CIA.
Looking for an identity.
Yeah.
He wanted to carve his own path, create his own name. Okay, I got you.
There's a new book coming out. It's called Blood Oil, Blood, something like that. Good friend of mine was just telling me about it. It's about one of the Saudi princes that's going to be the next Saudi king.
Oh, wow.
So they've had, you know, the kings and there's like thousands of princes over there. And they're all on like allowance. Like they all have plenty of money. But this one.
Oh, yeah.
And tons of money. Like their allowance is like $2 million a month, something stupid. And but there's so many of them. And they all have a right to it. But you have to like work your way to it. And most of them are like, I don't want anything to do with it. Like I've got 40 girls around me at any time and a whole entourage of guys to do whatever I want and Bentleys and gold watches. I can do it. That's their lifestyle. That's what they do. But this specific one took like the time to work his way, and he was nowhere near it. He wasn't even expected to be there. Like, but he worked his way through it. He became like the fixer of all the princes. So if you got a little problem over here, you know what, somebody, you know, extorting you, you know, or has something on you, he'd whack them. Whatever. It was very mobster-ish, you know, but he worked his way all the way up, and he's about to become the king. Like when his dad passes, he is going to be the king.
Oh, the fixer is now the king?
Yeah.
It's like
and this is, and he's young. He's like 34 years old, 37 years old. Like, but he's about to be one of the wealthiest people in the world. I mean, Aramco is now his piggy bank, you know, and so this book that just came, I think it just dropped Friday. It's called Blood Oil. Oil Blood. I'll get the right name.
Yeah, man. Let me I'll read it. Yeah.
I know you're a big reader.
Sure.
Check it out. Let me know. I don't have time to read books. Like,
Do you listen to them?
No. I talked about on the show the other day. Like, I wake up in the morning and I read 75 stock newses. Like every stock that I own, I get news on it every morning. You know what's happening with the current news, and I read all of those. And then I have a watch list of about 100 different stocks and companies, and I read through all of theirs. And that's where I really get all of my news. Like I don't watch a lot of news anymore. I read through all my stocks, you know, and all of them are that 6 degree of separation. As many companies as I'm reading about, they're all tied into something. If in a company that I want to buy or sell or something that I'm really interested in, I'll dive deep into it. I won't just read their news. You know, I'll go into each little piece that I've heard from them and read from this company and that company. I'll go super deep into it. So that's the reading I do. So like for me to pleasure read right now is like,
yeah.
How long does it take you to do it?
So I wake up about 5:30, 6 o'clock, and before the market opens, I've done all of my homework. You know, I'm ready to put in my trades, or at least my want trades. You know, my limit orders and stuff. So, a couple hours just reading, and my eyes are going so bad now. I've got readers all over the place, like they're hanging from lamps.
What are you powered at now?
I have no idea. I've got so many different ones, and I never did like the homework to find out which ones were which.
They got like 100, 125, 150, 200, 250s. I mean, they just keep going up.
I've got some that just make me a complete bug eye. Like, and I hide those away from. I try and not use those ever unless I can't find my other ones, because if I put those on and read in the morning, it's great because the pictures look like that. I mean, all the writing looks. Look how big my ads are. Look at that. Look at this, man. This is how big I have to read my shit, man. Show yours, man. These are like this big. That's how bad my eyes are. You can't even see it on. You can't even see it on the camera when he has over there, and then when I have.
But see, I can't see it from here. But if I pull it out to here, I'm real good. I got you.
You know, you can do like eye exercises. Where you look close and then look far, look close.
You told me that, and I try that when I have.
And when you wear the glasses, it makes it worse, dude.
Oh my! These specific
makes
glasses that I have.
When you take them off, I mean,
I can't see anything. Like I can't even get in my shower in the morning when I take those things off. So I try and use like the least power ones I have, and I still grind through it. You know. Oh man, it's a nightmare. Well, we have a few more minutes, and I wanted to get to these anyway. Rockets just getting burned by the Lakers.
Man.
I know. The first game, I was so excited. I was like, oh, man, we might actually have a chance here. Like, we're going to play these guys right. But you know what I think happened? I think they came out and kind of rope-a-doped us. You know, they kind of just went out there and played softball and kind of see what we're doing and how they're going to play us. And then the rest of the time, they're just beating the brakes of us off.
Man, I thought we were going to win last night. And I think we'll probably win tomorrow. They're going to win at least one game, and I've got this silent hope that we'll win the series. But turnovers, and it's like the Rockets are great until the last 5-6 minutes, man.
I know. We were talking about it yesterday, and it was 92-92 or 82-82 at the end of the third, and I was like, oh, it's a pretty tight game. And then I saw the final, and I was like, golly.
Yeah, I'm just not going to watch it. I say that every time, and I'm like, I'm not going to watch the next game, and then I'll watch it.
I didn't watch it.
No.
I heard my brother screaming in the other room, though.
Was it good screams or bad screams?
They were like, oh, because like one of his friends is over. You can hear when something good was happening. I was like, oh, sounds exciting.
What were you watching last night?
I'm on episode 111, season 1 of this Turkish show called Black Love Money, Black Money Love. I think that's what it's called.
Oh, nice.
And I just want to know how it ends.
How many more episodes are there?
I don't know. I'm scared to look because at episode 30, I was like, I'm almost done. Like, this is close. I'm almost there. And at episode 60, I'm like, dear God. 60, I'm like, I'm so deep in. And at 90, I'm like, dear Lord, I'm at 90. And now I'm at 111.
How long are they, though? They're 30 minutes?
They're 45 minutes.
Oh, man.
But these people, so it kind of pulled me in because I love fashion.
It's like a year, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a lifetime of a toddler.
And they have such amazing fashion, these Turkish women. They're just all so beautiful and elegant.
Yeah.
And everyone and everything they do is so elegant. I'm like, oh, okay.
That's like the thoroughfare, though, like Turkey, Istanbul, from Africa to Europe. Like, that is where everything crossed through for like centuries.
It's all about the corruption and the government and the cops, and they're the laundering money. And so these 3 girls, when their dad gets murdered, and they find out he wasn't as amazing as they thought he was. He was laundering money. So then they make one of the sisters launder money. They kidnap the other one, and then they all fall in love with people. And there's just 111 episodes later. I'm still like, how does it end? Please tell me.
Let me tell you, it never ends.
No,
there's 111 more episodes. You just haven't seen them yet.
I know. So I didn't. So I didn't have time to watch them when I was on vacation. So I just catching up.
I watched. Oh man, I'm gonna throw myself under the bus here. Shit. I watch TV driving. So
you're just as bad as that dick talking on his phone, right? You were watching TV while he was on his phone going like this, right?
No, I've been watching Queen of the South.
I do the same thing.
Queen of the South?
Queen of the South.
Oh, I watched that.
And y'all are both in TV, or have been. Y'all are both entertainers. So, it's just like Ray Donovan. Like the first two seasons are just amazing. You have everybody doing their damnedest to get this show off the ground and make it the best there is. And then once you've made it, it's like, don't pay $2 million an episode for the best director. Pay some dickweed, from the college that was interning to do it. And you see all these great shows just linger on. Like Ray Donovan now is terrible. It's garbage, and it was one of the best. Like he was a fixer, you know, in LA, and like took care of all the who's. And then the show just went south. And so I stopped watching it. Queen of the South was the best. She's a, you know, immigrant that her boyfriend was a drug cartel runner, and then she became the boss, and now it's like multiple episodes into it, and it's like it just you know, they're just keeping people watching, you know, like they're not putting all into it. But
what are y'all's favorite shows you've watched over COVID?
Mine, I don't really watch TV, but what I got hooked on, my buddy Andy Griggs, he's a dear friend of mine in Nashville. He's had several. You probably know Andy.
I know Andy.
But he got me hooked on Yellowstone.
That's mine.
So Yellowstone is the only thing I'll watch. I mean, besides sports, you know, I'll walk up to the bar and watch, because I don't even have TV at the house. But Yellowstone, God almighty, Beth, if you're out here, sweetheart.
Casey, I love you.
I can definitely be your rip, mama. Anytime. Yeah. I mean, so like I'm like in love with her. She's like the most beautiful woman I might have ever seen. And I've seen some pretty girls. There's something about her lips.
You know, she really
and her eyes.
She really has an English accent.
Oh, of course. Oh, yeah. I could dig it.
That show is just
it's wonderful.
Every moment of it. Kevin Costner is just amazing. Oh, Everything he does.
I like his voice too. He's talking like this in that movie.
But everything is so perfectly looks like a movie every second of it. It never goes down.
Have you watched it? Have you seen it? Oh my God.
Oh my God.
Jesus. From a guy who doesn't watch TV, let me tell you what, this is possibly the best show I've ever seen.
The best show.
Oh, wow.
It's the best show.
That's strong.
Ever.
I love it so much.
I have to give it a shot.
I've
been told.
You can get it on Amazon app on Prime, but you have to buy it each season.
Do yourself a favor, cuz.
Hey, are we black up there? Oh.
Podcast.
This guy, man, our engineer is something else, man.
He's working his ass off.
Dead camera, I think.
Give it up for the behind the scenes here, man. You got a hell of an operation. These guys are great.
They are. Regardless, I want to say thank you to my guests, both of you, for coming tonight. I want to say thank you to all of our men and women out there fighting for our freedom. I want to say rest in peace to all the first responders and people who lost their lives in 9/11. And I want to thank everybody for watching tonight. From you and I, thank you and good night.